Welcome to the Cryptonomatron, and today I'm doing a review on Sharder. Sharder is an ICO and it is a distributed storage for off-chain storage of data and files, etc. So we'll be taking a closer look at it. I believe it's a Chinese project, and it is quite a confusing website. The whitelist is open at the moment. They've already had a pre-sale and they're moving into general crowd sale soon. No date yet disclosed, I don't think. So just before we start the review, I did do a review of Sele, the ICO that whitelisted yesterday. That is Superman's secret ICO. I did the review and I decided to pull the video and not upload it because there was too many red flags around the project, and I don't want my viewers getting involved with it and then potentially blaming me for their investment going wrong. So I decided not to put the video on YouTube. I decided not to upload it. I thought it was more responsible of me if I didn't. And if you're investing in that project, good luck with it. I'm not going to talk about it further, so don't bother asking me what I thought of it or anything else. I'm not gonna reply to any of those kind of questions. Suffice to say, it prompted me to introduce a new section to the review format called Red Flags, and now I will have a red flag section for every ICO review, where we will discuss any potential issues with the ICO, whether it's team members, previous failed businesses, scam associations, anything that's potentially a problem with the ICO will be discussed in that section. So the timestamps are below. You can see the red flag section for this project, and it will be included in all future videos. So there we go. So sit back, relax, enjoy Sharder Protocol, and I'm going to be accompanied on this review by my uncle Jock. Jock McCrypto is going to assist me. He will pop up with some information now and again to make your viewing pleasure a little bit more bearable. So bear with me and let's start the review. So let's look at the white paper for the competition section. They've provided this very nice, easy to read slide-based white paper, which I like. It's brilliant. It's exactly what I want when I'm looking at a project, and it covers most of the things I usually cover in my videos as well. So it makes it really easy for me to do a review, given all this information is presented. And as we can see, storage systems, we have two centralized systems, Amazon and Alayun, I think you pronounce it, on the left, and three of the decentralized storage systems you will no doubt be familiar with: Coin, Storage, and IPFS on the right, and Sharder in the middle, just showing how to compare with the other five. So obviously the centralized systems have issues such as lack of security, lack of privacy, etc., etc. But really we want to look at the decentralized systems, the new systems, if you like, and how distributed networks are going to improve privacy, security, transparency, and everything else. So Sharder look like they are going to be quicker than the current available systems, which is another problem. They're also going to be able to provide, and this is key here, cross-chain access. So they won't be limited to only a single chain. You'll be able to access them whatever blockchain you are using. And also they have dApps built on top of them as well, which is another difference. And the dApps are listed there as BeanCloud, Sharder Matrix, Sharder Brain, and OneFair, and we'll take a little look at those later. So that's the competition, and it looks good for Sharder as they're taking it a stage further. They're taking it to the competition. And so let's look at the pain points or the problems that they want to solve. So again, we're just using this slide-based white paper to look at the problems, and they're listed on the left-hand side, along with the solutions on the right-hand side. Number one problem that they see in centralized storage systems is obviously data breach and the invasion of privacy, and that's a main issue. Hackers can infiltrate centralized systems. Centralized systems are basically not trustworthy. If you've got any private data on them, it can be hacked. And the Sharder Protocol solution is obviously to have offline encryption to keep secure. spontaneous data sharding and distributed storage, and also the Sharder UTXO and Sharder Pair Tech, which will guarantee the data cannot be accessed without the relevant permissions. Latency is another problem. Latency just means speed. The current networks are very slow. Access is a problem. It takes a while. And Sharder are going to solve this by having a network of countless nodes and extendable with cross-chain technology, which will speed up the access process. They're also going to use what's called watcher nodes, and they will synchronize the network and reduce the redundant copies and adjust the data distribution to guarantee uptime all the time and all-time accessibility. They will also have smart routers, which will optimize the traffic performance. Number 3 problem on the list is high cost. Centralized data centers, they say, are capital intensive, and big companies charge the users a lot to reach the break-even point. The end users have no bargaining power against the big companies. So, you know, the way they're going to solve that is simple. It's an open source project. It's a peer-to-peer system, and there's no monopoly, being a decentralized network. Number 4, the idle storage space. Again, centralized data systems are always have excess capacity used over, whereas with a decentralized system, it will use just what it needs when it needs it. Number 5, impermanent storage. Again, you know, if you're relying on a storage center, a centralized system, they can terminate the service straight away, and there's nothing you can do about it. So it's not permanent. But with a decentralized Sharder network, they want to have nodes so the system will always be online, and their data can be kept, you know, theoretically, permanently or forever. So they're calling this the Airbnb of storage, and they have got these innovative solutions to the data storage on the blockchain. And you know, the main problem is obviously the size of the files and everything, and how they're going to be stored. And the bigger files you store, the longer it takes to upload them and access them and everything. And for a decentralized network, it's particularly difficult. There has to be a system where it can scale properly, and it can also hold larger files and have them accessed quickly as well. So they've got these innovative technologies that they're going to implement based on, they say, blockchain 3.0. So the latest technology, they have this Sharder UTXO, which is the cross-chain distributed storage protocol, and it's based on the UTXO model of Bitcoin. They also have what they call the sharing economy. So it will basically be a cheap service to use. So you can subscribe to this, use them for storage, and also be part of the storage network as a Sharder miner, they call it. So they'll have their own micro node miner, a Sharder hub, and storage mining all in one, a Sharder box, which is hardware, and that'll allow, if you're a miner, to get rewards in the tokens. And then also there is dApps on the back of this. There is commercial applications built on the back, as I mentioned very briefly earlier. They have already 4 dApps being developed. Among them, Sharder Matrix, Sharder Brain, and OneFair. And also, the community will be able to manage. So again, in decentralized systems, we have more transparency, more democracy, so to speak. So the community, they say, is basically in control of the project. So they've really been paying attention when they did this slideshow, this white paper, because it has, as I said, everything that I need to produce a video quite quickly without much hassle. I don't really have to go trolling through more data. They have already done their market research, which is very important for projects. You have to be a little bit suspicious of projects that don't include any market research in them, in that they don't know what they're getting into, or at least they're not disclosing to the investor the potential behind the project, which is you know, obviously going to be important if you're buying into an ICO in particular. You want to know, you know, what's the potential market here? What, you know, what is it going to achieve, and how are they going to raise revenue if they are not already making money? So this is an interesting slide from the white paper. The data level is skyrocketing, they say. So storage is or growing, I should say, in capacity at an incredible annual rate of 58%. And the global data sphere size was 8.6 zettabytes. I'm not even sure what a zettabyte is, how many zeros are on a zettabyte, in 2015, and will be 44 zettabytes in 2020. So, there they are, 5,500 gigabytes per capita. So that sort of lets you get your head around those figures a little bit more. So as you can see, it's a growing industry, and more security is required. So we can look at this in terms of Google Drive, Dropbox, these types of centralized file storage systems. Amazon was another one. Again, I think the focus will shift now to more decentralized systems as people realize they are more secure and they have bigger potential than the centralized systems, are less risky. So yeah, multi-billion-dollar market, growing exponentially every year. What's not to like? So it's a cross-chain system, as I mentioned before. Now this gives it more scope than any of the others that are available. They've also got some interesting technology as well, which we'll look at in the next section. But ultimately, they're trying to tackle all the main problems of centralized storage systems at the moment. So adding the cross-chain value will really help this project, I think, to succeed. Again, they are like the Airbnb of storage. So essentially, Airbnb don't actually own any properties. Everybody just submits their properties to the system, to Airbnb, and people go through Airbnb to book their accommodations. And it's pretty much the same for this data storage. You will essentially rent out your free storage space and receive rewards for people using it. So it's going to have a big network, loads of nodes across the network that are all sharing information with each other. So again, the information is distributed, therefore it's less prone to attacks. They are also going to have some hardware, which is interesting, a Sharder hub, and also a Sharder box, and we'll take a quick look at those in a minute. And if you own these, you can then become a what's called a miner, and you will be able to enjoy further rewards on the network as well. It's their own blockchain model. Couple of the things I want to point out here is they have the Sharder UTXO and Sharder key pair, and this ensures that the data cannot be accessed without the correct credentials. So your ownership and privacy is absolutely guaranteed on the system, and that's very, very important for people that are sharing sensitive information. Otherwise, this system would be pretty redundant. So the mining is going to be very fair as well. So if you'll be welcome onto the network if you are even just a subscriber, or you purchase some of the hardware like the hub or the box, and then you can get more rewards. But everybody's welcome. It's not a first come first served where you have to buy the tokens really, really cheap to get a master node or whatever, and then it becomes too expensive for anybody to take part in. So this is focused a lot on the community. It seems very fair. The blockchain is going to be a unique chain. It's going to be the Sharder chain. So they're not piggybacking on the back of any of the existing technologies. They're making their own based on the Bitcoin blockchain, I believe. So it looks like a very, very interesting project. Let's take a look now at a little bit more of the tech, including the dApps, the hardware, and some of the other interesting things about the project. So let's look at some of the dApps that are in development for this particular blockchain. One of them is called the Bean Cloud. That apparently is a peer-to-peer loan, microfinance, consumer finance, e-commerce platform, which is very interesting. Sharder Matrix is another. That is a data accumulator. Basically, it records all the person's personal data and mounts it up. Then they have the Sharder Brain, which is an intelligent data service, it says. So Sharder Brain will serve as data security, data distribution adjustment, data analysis, etc. Sort of like a machine learning DApp, and then there's OneFair as well, which will be a peer-to-peer free market that's based on the Sharder chain and Sharder Protocol, and you'll be able to trade storage space, digital assets, verified data, information, etc. for tokens. So what I've found very interesting about this particular project, over and above the other decentralized storage solutions that are already available, is the fact that they're going to have their own hardware. So you'll be able to purchase a Sharder hub, which will be essentially a micro node miner, and you can earn rewards for mining, or the Sharder box, which is a storage device and a mining device all in the one unit. Now this is very interesting because you will be able to receive rewards, multifold awards if you're using the box, but you'll be able to essentially run a system, be part of the network, receive rewards for mining, storage, and participating in the verification process. And they even mention here that they want to become the Bitmain of the blockchain storage field. So this adds another dimension and gives this additional value over and above just being a decentralized storage network. The token has a real utility here and a real use. You can mine it. You will be able to rent out your free storage space to earn tokens as well. And you will also be able to earn rewards from watching, which is basically being a watcher on the network using a smart router. I believe the Sharder box will contain a smart router, so that's how you would do that service. But essentially the tokenization here of this system is an incentive for the people to use it, or people to be online to act as the nodes, so that other people can actually use it for their storage space. So it is a genuine use, and as usual, once the ICO is complete, the token will be tradable on several exchanges. They have tentative aims to list on some of the major exchanges, so that'll be interesting to see what it does when it actually hits the exchanges. So as promised, I do have a new section, and this is it. It's called Red Flags. And if there are any red flags associated with a project, I will raise them in this section. This project only has one slight issue, and that's somebody wanting to do a background check on the team, and it's on ICO Check on GitHub. The link is below in the description as usual, so you can check them out. There's loads of other ICOs that are mentioned in ICO Check that have red flags. I'm sure some of you will be aware of them, but it's a good site to get more information about the projects, especially about their legitimacy and certain concerns that the community has. So this one, they're basically just doing a background check. We can see here some photos from the Sharder office and some checks that have been conducted on the team themselves. They're on LinkedIn, obviously, and they're also looking at what they've got on GitHub and what their product is, etc. And you can actually comment down here if you find anything. So it's a very, very good site. But as such, I didn't find any distinct red flags with this project. But again, I encourage everybody to continue to check and continue to do due diligence and research, because you just never know. You know, me saying it's okay now, a week down the line, things can drastically change. So always be aware before you invest to do your research and make sure that you, you know, are confident that the ICO is not a scam. In this case, I couldn't find anything about it, so you know, that's a good thing. And it gives us a little bit more confidence when investing in a project that there are no immediate red flags. The reason I included this section was obviously because I did the Sale ICO review yesterday, and it raised so many red flags that I pulled the review. I mentioned it in the intro. I actually pulled the review and decided not to upload it in the end. So I spent a day doing a review for absolutely nothing. But again, you know, I just didn't want to dump that on my community here, guys. So I decided to introduce this as a permanent fixture. So if any projects in the future have any issues, they will be raised in this section. But this one, I couldn't find anything. If you know different, again, post in the comments below. We are a community here, so we're here to help each other. And if you know or you have any concerns over the project, please post in the description below. ICO details now, and they have had a pre-sale. Now, the pre-sale price of the token was a little under 4 cents. We are waiting to see what the price for the general crowd sale will be. Now, don't worry about the whitelist being closed. The whitelist was for the pre-sale. If you sign up now, my affiliate link is below. Yes, it is an affiliate link, and no, I'm not paid to do these reviews, so every little bit helps. Please use my link if you can. It is much appreciated. Plus, you get a bonus as well on your tokens. So this is how it breaks down. There will be the general crowd sale will start on February the 23rd and run till March the 23rd, although I doubt we'll get that far, to be honest. This project is now gaining some traction among the community. It didn't stay hidden for long. It's been on my radar for a week or so now, and I decided to do the review because the cat is already out the bag. So, I'd like my subscribers to have a chance to get involved with this ICO because it is quite promising. Anyway, I digress. The breakdown of the tokens is as follows. There is a total of 500 million supply, and it will be broken down to 10% for a team, 15% for early bird or angel investors, 35% will be for the crowd sale. The community fund will get 10%. There will be another 10% airdrop and another 20% for system rewards for miners, etc. on the network. Team tokens will be vested for 3 years, and there will be a quota for whitelisted subscribers of 1 Ethereum. I think that's already passed in pre-sale. We believe, although we're not sure, that the tokens will again be around the 4 cent mark during the general crowd sale, which would be an excellent price, in fact, and give it a very, very small market cap indeed. The hard cap is very low for this project, given that token price. So it looks a very, very viable proposition. So as far as I know, this project is not having a bounty campaign. So no rewards for everybody spreading the word. It's gone under the radar. It doesn't require that much hype, this project, because it now is gaining traction in the community, but it was a very unknown project just up until a few days ago, and now it seems to be getting spread with word of mouth. They didn't really need a bounty campaign. The hard cap is very low. They're not trying to raise a lot of money, so a limited amount of community members is sufficient. Very, very quick look at the roadmap now. The Conch chain is a project from the Chief Executive Officer of this project, and it was started early last year. It's already kicked off. The website is linked to in their website. I'll leave another link to it below. There's also a white paper. They've done research and development on the network. They've also got a community going on that as well. They wrote the white paper for this particular project for the Sharder Protocol in Q4 last year, so it's a fairly new idea, and they've been doing the research and development this year since Christmas, since the turn of the year, and they've launched the Bean Cloud Alpha quite recently. They have 10 e-commerce platforms attending a test of that. The community continues to grow, but most importantly, they will be launching the Sharder chain in Q2, so there will be effectively something going on. The network will be launched. The Bean Cloud will then move into beta around the same time, and then Q3 you'll start to see the smart contracts being implemented, and also the Sharder Hub, the hardware miner, launched as well. So that's not too long to wait, in fact, for that. So that's quite exciting news. And then eventually in Q4, something that's really exciting as well, they will have a mobile wallet, a web light wallet, and a token exchange available. But interestingly and excitingly, they will have multi-chain mining, so the Sharder protocol will be deployed on the Conch network and also on the Qtum blockchain and private cloud. So something to look forward to there as well. So let's look briefly at the team. The team has a lot of experience in programming, in software development, etc. So they look quite skilled in terms of their technical proficiency. The CEO and COO are co-founders of a company called Tao Gushin, and they're at taugushen.com. You can go and visit them. Apparently, they are a internet service platform for matching finance and securities investments. They have an invested capital of $100 million, I'm led to believe. So they're quite established already. So that's quite reassuring. The other team is it seems to be China-based. They are a registered company in Singapore as well, so they claim, and they have what they claim is a global community, but the advisory body not really the strongest. So maybe if I had any misgivings about this team, it would be the fact that they've no real stellar advisors. However, implementation, really, I don't think it's going to be a problem here. I think technically they're very, very adept. So I've no concerns over whether they will be able to implement the technology. One other thing before I sign off on this section, it's not clear whether they are currently continuing to work with Taugushen alongside Sharder. It may be the case that a lot of these people work for Taugushen and are working on the Sharder project on the side. So it'll be interesting to see how quick they can actually get the Sharder protocol up and running, given that they may have other commitments. So partnerships are actually stronger than they first appear. A lot of these will be very unfamiliar to those of us in the West, saying that I live in Asia, but I am a Westerner and I don't speak Chinese. But apparently this ZBJ hosting company have quite a large customer base for web hosting and stuff like that in China itself. And also YijiPay, the other partner listed there, were third on Deloitte's high tech list, which is interesting. Taugushen there, again, the co-founders founded that company themselves. Bornsoft, I haven't done any research on. Cash Group, again, don't know about them. And then I think the others are more conducive to running an ICO and launching a blockchain company rather than actual partners for any specific services. There's Tyron Law Firm there, Orong Group, NGO, I think, Exchange, C-Change, and Galaxy E-Solutions. And there's a list of investors that have already got involved in the project, including 1911 and Nirvana Capital at the bottom there. So they're already invested. They already have a couple of reasonably strong partners as well, which is nice to see. Projects like this often don't bother seeking partnerships until after they've actually launched their ICO. So it's nice to see that they're already positioning themselves with an eye on the future. So last but not least, the community. Now, obviously, they are on the usual channels, Telegram, although I believe they've not been that responsive. I did read another review that mentioned they were struggling to get answers out of the admin on the Telegram, so that's not particularly enthusing. They're also on Twitter, of course. They have a GitHub, as mentioned before. They're also on WeChat. And they have a Reddit page too, so they're covering the bases that they should. Let's take a closer look at their Twitter. They only have 584 followers on their Twitter. It could be that this project is primarily Chinese based. The website is in Chinese language. It does have English on it as well, but that could be affecting them in terms of their input on social media. But if we check the Twitter audit report, it's pretty good, 96% thumbs up. So no real concerns over fake followers or anything like that. They're not trying to dupe us into a project with loads of followers with a lot of hype that isn't really anything substantial. In fact, this one is under the radar, which I like, because if it was too popular, it would be. I think it's going to be difficult to participate in. To be honest with you, too many people get a hold of this. I think that the cat's out the bag. It may become a little bit too popular, and then we'll have people complaining that they never got any tokens. And finally, the Telegram group has a little 2,436 members on it. That's good. I don't want this getting out of control till I've had a chance to invest in it, to be honest with you. And yeah, I'm being a bit greedy here, but that's you know, this is a good solid project. And if the community was too large in this case, you know, it might sell out, and then it might inhibit us from getting involved, guys. So yeah, good. This is maybe one of the one cases you'll hear me say that low community support is advantageous. Verdict time again, and let's start off by looking at the positives. Let's break it down. What's good about this ICO? Well, number one, it is a better solution than the current competition. Now, this means it is going to be faster. It's going to be more decentralized. It does have better solutions to what it's trying to do than the current offerings, and that's called a competitive advantage, and Sharder has that in spades. Number two, it's a low token price of around 4 cents, which I believe is what it's going to be. You know, that really is a no-brainer. Number three, a low hard cap as well of around $10 to $12 million is very enticing. And number four, there's a relatively low supply, 500 million total, with 250 million, or approximately 250 million, being offered up for the crowd sale in both pre-sale and main sale ICO. So all these three combine to make this a very exciting and enticing project indeed. Number five, the token utility and the way it's structured means it will incentivize users to actually use the system. Number six, the team is obviously technically competent. They have already succeeded in their previous company and continue to make inroads into the Sharder Protocol, which hopefully will launch as planned. And like I said when I was doing the team section, I don't have any misgivings about the team whatsoever. Number seven, they have decent partnerships. Might not appear that way to anybody that isn't based in China or isn't familiar, but if you do a little bit digging, the partnerships are actually quite fruitful. Number eight, and probably my favorite part of this whole ICO, I mentioned it before, they have this mining hardware, and you know, if you're mining on the network using their hub or their box, you're going to get rewarded for it. And you know, this could add another dimension. It gives this project additional value over and above its competitors, and it really will entice people that might not bother about this project to maybe come on board and start mining, you know, using their hardware. So it's exciting, and it also may provide another revenue stream for Sharder as well. And number nine, it solves real problems in storage, in that, you know, centralized systems are vulnerable and weak, and this basically solves those issues. Now, there are only a few negatives that I noted with this project. No red flags popped up. They are based in China, however, and that raises concerns of a regulatory and compliance nature. Now, the company is actually registered also in Singapore, I believe, mentioned in the white paper. But being based in China with your staff, with your team, is a concern, because you never know what they're going to do going forward. They've been quite unpredictable with cryptocurrency recently, and obviously banning exchanges and you know, the noises coming out of China are less than positive. So that's just a concern, and it's something to be aware of as well, that, you know, we have limited control over what happens if the Chinese start to get even tougher, and companies like this will ultimately suffer. Number two, there is limited technical information available in English. The white paper is only really a slideshow. The technical paper is unfortunately only available in Chinese, and that's a little bit of a concern, because I would have liked to know a little bit more about the blockchain and how they're going to build the tech. So I really can understand a little bit more for myself. And number three, it is a concern. It's not that much of a concern when you're at ICO stage, because it's nice to have low hype and be able to get into a project for a change without having a gas war and fighting off all the other people trying to send in Ethereum. But eventually, the low hype that this project has could actually affect it when it gets onto the exchanges. So it might be a case of, if you're looking to flip this, it might not go up that much in price when it hits the exchange. However, I'm hoping that by the time we reach the ICO in just over a week's time, I think, the hype will have grown to such an extent that we will get some traction when it goes onto the exchanges. So, whoa, that's summed up for today. So, final verdict time. A quote from a person called Alexis Stewart. The more storage you have, the more stuff you accumulate. And I'm starting to accumulate loads and loads of coins from ICOs now. Been doing them for many, many months. And this one is definitely one I'm going to accumulate. It's 4 out of 5 stars. I really would have given them higher marks, but they don't have any technical info, so I had to limit it to 4 stars. Had they provided a technical white paper, this may have got higher. It may even got 4.5 or even a 5, guys. I'm not joking. I really like this project. I like it a lot. So obviously I will be trying to invest in it if it hasn't actually got so large by the time the ICO kicks off on the 23rd that we'll all be struggling to get in. But it's a bit of a sleeper. It is starting to get some traction and getting noticed now, but let's hope we can participate in this one, as I'm certainly going to. And even then, looking onto the future, I may even decide to become a miner with this project if the hardware is launched. I'll take a look at it at that time, but it's it's definitely on my radar, not only for the ICO but also going forward, and maybe also as a storage solution for any potential projects that I'm a part of too. So exciting, very exciting project. I like it. Yeah, thumbs up for this one. So thanks for joining me today. Like I said, I did a Seele, or however you say it in German. It's German for soul, by the way. Some of the other YouTubers seem to have a problem pronouncing it. I'm not saying I can pronounce it. I don't speak German, but that's what it means, apparently. But I elected not to upload the video, as I mentioned before, because I had some concerns over it. And there are some shit fights going on between certain YouTubers. Again, I'm not getting involved with them, ridiculous guys. Fucking grow up, man. This is a community. We should all be helping each other, not sniping each other for petty point scoring. So anyway, enough said on that. I'll be back tomorrow with another review. Thanks for watching. As ever, this isn't investment advice. This is just my opinion and for entertainment purposes only. If you are going to invest in any ICOs, please bear in mind that they pose inherent risk, and you should always do due diligence, do your own research, always invest wisely, and always invest with caution, and never invest more than you can afford to lose, guys. Please, don't listen to YouTubers. This is just for entertainment only. I'm out, and I'll be back tomorrow. See ya.